Hey, how's it going? It's Big Guy here with The Biggest MMA, and today we're going to be going through a breakdown of this whole weekend of MMA and the fights to make from the big fights this weekend. I'm not going to do every single little fight. I just want to throw some together because I know it's been a while since hey man, me and you, we've been talking a little while, and today we're talking about some MMA, so let's get into it. All right, so first off, we have Arnold Allen versus Melquizael Costa. Melky Costa is one we call him because his name's hard as fuck to say. And we got Arnold Allen first up. My fucking guy, my GOAT, winning a 50-45 shutout, unanimous decision. One judge gave Melky round 2. What was he smoking? That's crazy. Arnold outboxed him, shut down his kicking game. And there's one point where he checked like 8 kicks in a row. It was actually very good kicking defense once Arnold Allen kind of got into the flow there. We have to start talking about autism in MMA. Is it the best base? Because we have Gene Silva, Arnold Allen. You can argue many other people are autism. I would say Islam Makhachev, autism, a case for autism right there. And you could really kind of see it in this fight. He was just very hyper focused on this one thing. Maybe that's the part of autism that helps you. It's like the hyper focusing, the locking in, if you will. And he beat this not autistic Melky Costa. Melky Costa just a pretty normal dude. But we gotta start putting respect on Arnold Allen's name. I'm not gonna name names, but some of you have been saying Arnold Allen's overrated. Arnold Allen's this. All he does is lose close decisions. Shut the fuck up. We win unanimous ones too. Sorry, had to put it out there. Look, 50-45 over an up-and-comer on a 6-fight win streak in Melky Costa, coming off 2 back-to-back flatline KOs that were awesome to watch as a fan. He completely shut down the kicking game. It was a very impressive performance from Arnold Allen. I'm very happy with it. And he's looking like the fighter he did when he had those close losses, but in a winning scenario. Because that's kind of how we've been rating Arnold Allen. It's like, oh, like he beat Movsar Evloev, which he did. Like those knees were legal, and Mark Goddard fucked Arnold Allen over. But looking at this win, you can finally see that skill level finally pay off against like a relevant name in the division instead of like Giga Chikadze or whatever. So next we're gonna talk about what's next for him. I'm thinking Yair Rodriguez. He's a bit of a rank squatter, so it's time for him to fight down. He almost never fights to begin with, so I'd like for him to fight down. Arnold Allen said he wants to fight around September. He's gonna be busy. Like he just could not tell a lie. He's trying to make a baby with his wife, and he said he wants to be back around September. And I think Yair Rodriguez would be probably fighting around then for the Mexico card. It's a good date. Put it on like Noche or whatever. That's a great fight right there. It's a banger striking matchup. Think about the kickboxing exchanges between these two. Arnold Allen pressuring forward, Yair Rodriguez like using the kicks, trying to keep him backwards, spamming, just button mashing on UFC 5 type, the kind of guy to throw a body kick, spinning heel kick like 3 times in a row on UFC 5 versus like the pressure boxer. It's a UFC 5 fight. I have these fights all the time. And then we have both of these guys need win streaks. They're both kind of like in this position where you really can't justify them in the title picture. It's so crowded. We have Movsar Evloev fighting Alexander Volkanovski next, and then Gene Silva's right there. We have Kevin Vallejo's coming up, Aljamain Sterling. There's so many up-and-comers who are going to be coming in that picture or who already cemented themselves in that picture that these guys, they need to start going on a win streak to really differentiate themselves. And this would be the beginning of a win streak for both of them, I believe. And Yair Rodriguez never fights. If he doesn't fight by September, just cut him. He's pissing me off. So what about Melky? Well, here's what I'm proposing. We've been seeing this trend of fighters losing to really highly ranked competition and then getting a shot at maybe slightly lower next competition. So what I'm saying is he should fight the loser of Diego Lopes versus Steve Garcia. Now this is like a potential rematch for him, which could be scary because like Steve Garcia did like flatline him out cold. So I would be scared if I was Melky Costa, but at the same time, Melky has got a lot better. He's really improved since then. It's a really entertaining style matchup with Melky's like long, rangy, crazy man kicks, his good grappling, versus Steve Garcia just like freak frog build athleticism and KO power. And then if it's Diego Lopes, it's still a banger fight. I mean, when is Diego Lopes in a bad fight? 145 really needs to start getting busy. Like I was talking about this crazy title picture. We have Gene Silva, Aljamain Sterling, Movsar Evloev. We need a title shot booked, preferably with Evloev. And we need to start getting number one contenders sorted out. You can book, for instance, Kevin Vallejos versus like Aaron Pico to see who's going to be fighting up for a top 5 spot next. We can do Gene Silva versus Lerone Murphy. We could do Aljamain Sterling versus Gene Silva or versus Lerone Murphy. You can throw Arnold Allen in there against Aljamain Sterling or Lerone Murphy. Yair Rodriguez needs to fight. He can fight this guy. And then the winner of this is going to be going up too. So 145 needs to really start getting active in terms of the contenders fighting each other so we can really get a clear order of operations when it comes to the title situation. And hopefully Volk just beats Evloev and retires, because I don't want to see him get slimed out by Gene Silva or Kevin Vallejos or Steve Garcia. Because, listen, he's getting dropped by Diego Lopes, and he's very clearly winning these fights, but after a certain point, there's going to be a point where his age catches up, and getting dropped is going to start translating to getting KO'd. As much as I love Volkanovski, so I'd rather him retire after Evloev, and maybe if Sterling jumps the line against Sterling too. But I don't really see that happening, unfortunately. Costa is really active, so him fighting these guys would make sense. These guys fight pretty soon after him in a few weeks. He won't have to wait too long to get back out there. He didn't take that much damage either, and the issue is these guys might be taking a lot of damage. But even then, Diego Lopes broke his foot against Volkanovski, and he was pretty much right back in there, comparatively to some people who would break their feet. So who knows? I think these guys, probably later in the year, maybe also September, maybe the Noche card could be good for them. And then fighting down is good too. I don't really mind him fighting like David Obama, or even if you want to welcome someone to the rankings, I wouldn't mind that either, but I don't really see them doing that with him. All right, next we got Francis Ngannou on the MVP card this week. Absolutely caught a body. He murdered Felipe Lins, who, to be fair, is like 220 pounds. It wasn't like a very... I'm pretty sure Sean Strickland is heavier than Felipe Lins in the offseason. So, do that what you will. Obviously, he's not when he's in fighting shape, and Felipe Lins did look in fighting shape. He tried his best to make it a fight, but man, Francis Ngannou is absolutely terrifying. You can see it in Felipe Lins' eyes after he fell down. Then his eyes are kind of glazed over, but you can see the sheer terror etched into his unconscious expression. And listen, man, I would be too. I don't know what to do with this guy. He's scary. He's outside the UFC, which is so unfortunate. But even though he's outside this UFC, I would say he's still a top 3 heavyweight in the world. With what we've seen, he's been looking like the Francis Ngannou of old every time he stepped into a cage, getting these round 1 KOs. The only man who I'm scared of getting some ground and pound off on a guy who's not that rocked is Francis Ngannou. And that should tell you a lot. Tom Aspinall could maybe beat him. Jon Jones could maybe beat him. He'd probably have a close fight with Pereira or Gane. I mean, we'll see how that fight goes. I'm hesitant to put their name in the conversation. I don't want to hear a single soul mention Josh Hokett or anyone around there, really. But Francis Ngannou, top 3 heavyweight in the world, and I really hope we get to see Francis Ngannou versus Jon Jones. Now, I know what some people are saying. Just hold on. Hear me out. I have no problem with Francis Ngannou fighting Rebels to Spain. It's almost like a tune-up fight, bro. Just give him a free highlight reel, another one outside the UFC, so they can use more in the hype reel when they introduce this fight. Because this is the biggest possible fight you could do for either of these guys. Jon Jones is not going to fight in the UFC again. Dana won't let it happen. Francis Ngannou, who else would he fight? Fucking Rico Verhoeven? I don't really care about that. I'm sorry, I really don't. This is a fight years in the making. Jon Jones has been ducking Francis Ngannou for years and years at this point, 4 or 5 years. It's ridiculous. Now that Francis is a little older and he's gotten his confidence back a little bit, and he's seeing this Netflix money. Maybe he wants to fight Dana White in the UFC. Now he's kind of seen the vision. Maybe he's seen a path to victory. God, I hope not, but maybe he has. And now he's seeking out the fight. But this fight's been in the making for years, and if it can be done, it should be done. I personally think Francis low-key wins, and I would absolutely pay money to see Francis Ngannou knock out the scumbag that is Jon Jones. The one issue with this fight is it's probably going to take a while. It most certainly will take a while. Jon Jones has to get out of his contract with the UFC, which even if he can do, and I'm pretty sure he can, it'd be a lengthy process, a legal battle, or it's just going to take some time because Dana White is petty. But I'm sure he can get out of his contract, and if he's still willing to fight by the time he gets out, you absolutely make this fight. But in the meantime, just Give him like Rebels to Spain, I guess. Do what you got to do there. Give him some highlight reels. He's gonna sleep pretty much every heavyweight that's not in the UFC. I don't see many UFC heavyweights even giving him trouble. So if you want to keep him busy, be doing that. But until then, the long-term goal needs to be Jon Jones. Okay. So it's just some notable mentions because I don't really want to get into all these fights. They weren't that big of a deal. My GOAT, Cody Brundage won. Cody Brundage Nation. Look, listen, everybody has that one fighter that they love for no reason, who's some bum, some journeyman, probably shouldn't even be in whatever promotion they're in. And mine is Cody Brundage. He got the win. Round 2 KO. Predicted that perfectly on Tapology, by the way. We had Hoo Choi and Daniel Santos go to war. Daniel Santos pissed me off. Bedtime MMA convinced me to pick him. I was watching that video, and he had some reasonable points. Hoo Choi's long layoff. And during round 1, it looked like I was going to be a genius. But Daniel Santos, his fight IQ needs to be studied as maybe being Chandler-esque. You see, in round 1, he's bobbing his head, he's moving, ripping to the body in these long, extended combinations. But he's also just occasionally whiffing spinning kicks and spinning back fists at range when, like, you are winning the boxing exchanges. And then his corner talks some sense to him in round 2. They're like, listen, bro, just use your hands, calm down a little bit. And he took that to mean, like, stand still in front of him and headhunt. And maybe the kick just gassed him out. Maybe I'm being too mean. But, look, how the extent to which he was winning the boxing exchanges, to the extent he went to losing them, is just, like, it's hard to fathom other than a lack of fight IQ, especially because I can see what changed. He stopped, like, with his head movement because he was evading a lot of big shots from Hoo Choi early. Like I said, maybe this is because he gassed out. Maybe it's not. Because of the big fucking kicks he should have been throwing to begin with. But in the second round, he wasn't doing that. He was just kind of like, he's hitting low-key like Sean Strickland if he was entertaining, just like standing in the pocket and banging. The issue is he doesn't have Sean Strickland's defense. Hoo Choi started fighting his jab, which is part of the success. Hoo Choi is a great fighter. I'm not meaning to like disparage him in any means. And he started really, like, the hand speed was almost like increasing throughout the fight. It's very impressive. He started finding his jab. He was ripping to the body, and that obviously did slow Daniel Santos. You can tell Daniel Santos was slowed down by the finish, and he backs him up to the cage. Boom! Nasty body shot. Daniel Santos just folds over. One of the meanest body shots I've ever seen. Hoo Choi is definitely ready for a ranked opponent. Daniel Santos is a fun unranked guy. You know who I'd really like to see him fight, like a William Gomez, a Hyder Emil, Joe Anderson Brito. One of those other, like, fun unranked level guys, and maybe the winner of that can start fighting one of those borderline ranked guys. But who knows? We'll see. And then we had Ronda Rousey submit Gina Carano in round 1. Okay. Ronda Rousey's obviously retiring. I do feel bad for Gina Carano. Her story touched me. She lost all this weight and did all this and this just to, like, I don't know, do nothing and die and get your arm really ripped off in 17 seconds. Bravo, Gina Carano. Bravo. One of the greatest losing performances of all time. But honestly, I think she should come back. Ariel Helwani, hate that guy, but he had a good point, maybe, like, saying, hey, maybe we should come back for, like, one more fight. You still have this name value. You clearly didn't get to show what you did here. So I would say just book her against some, like, bum unranked striker like they were doing for most of the card, and see what happens there. You, like, book her versus the French lady that Aileen Pereira fought, Alex Perez's sister, or Aileen Pereira. You know what? Why not freak show it to the max? Then we had the guy who beat DJ. Listen, I'm not gonna LARP. I haven't seen most of these, like, regional. Even the big regional names or, like, B tier names like One or LFA, PFL, I haven't seen a lot of these guys compete, but I've heard their names thrown around before. I've seen some of their highlights. One of them being Adriano Moraes. He got this sick RNC last second finish. People are saying he held on for too long. If you watch the legs, you can see that guy was out like 2 seconds before the bell rung, and he hung on for maybe like a full second afterwards. People were talking like it was 3 or 4 seconds. That's not the case. And with the sub attempt that deep, where you're like questioning, oh my god, was he out? He would have won the round anyway. Sorry, it is what it is. A lot of people out there like are mad that their hardcore pick in Kuta was wrong on their fake hardcore card, but I'm not one of those guys because I didn't give a fuck about this card. It was stopped to me. That being said, they did have this guy. I think his name's Parnasse, Saladin Parnasse. He's French, I believe. He's right there in the bottom right corner. just absolutely beating the fuck out of this like jobber they got off the street, who apparently had never been KO'd, or had been a long time since he was KO'd. So it was an impressive performance, but he beat the fuck out of this guy, and he's 28 years old. He looked lightning fast. He looked good on the ground. He looked good on the feet. And I just get the feeling the UFC's never gonna get this guy until he's like 35, and by then, like, what is he gonna be, like Pitbull maxing in the UFC? No, it's deeply upsetting to me. But I hope I'm wrong. If the UFC can get their hands on this guy, I really think they should. And then lastly, but not least, like the most, one of my favorite moments of the card was seeing Malcom Wellmaker get fraud checked yet again. Malcom Wellmaker and all your fans, oh my god. You and the Melky fans were pissing me off. Listen, I understand that you see a cool, flashy striker have some success in the UFC. You're like, hey, man. Hey, let's hop on the train. He's going to be the future champ. He's the best product. What the fuck did Malcom Wellmaker do? Lift his knee and land the same hook on like 2 or 3 guys. Genuinely, one of like the least inspired prospect runs of all time. And look, I'm a Peyton Talbot fan. I'll be real about that. But like, at least I saw him dismantle somebody, you know? Or I saw him face adversity before I hitched my chain to that wagon. I saw him win a decision on the Contender Series, a beautiful decision performance. Saw him choke out Nick Aguirre after losing the first, I think, 2 rounds it was. I saw him completely dismantle Cody Simon, and then he got like a McGregor-esque 17-second KO on some bum, but still. Listen, that's the motion. That's the motion. What does Wellmaker do? Boom, boom. Okay. Ethan Ewing showed levels on that. Clear 30-27. He looks so awkward when his like game plan doesn't work. He has like a teep, he has like a body kick, and then he has like his left hand like right straight. And if he can't get any of those weapons to like really hurt you or really affect you in any way, he has nothing. He looks completely lost out there. He's like closer to like an Alex Pereira at 135 than he is to like a Sean O'Malley or a Peyton Talbot, which you just can't be like an athletic power puncher with nothing else going for you at 135. You can't. I'm sorry. And he's old. He's like 32. 32, unranked at bantamweight. I don't know what his ceiling is. Maybe he can be ranked. He's not awful. Like those weapons he does have, they're very good. He's very good at using them. But Juan Diaz and Ethan Ewing really showed that once you like make him uncomfortable, he really can't be the nail. He got taken down, he got dropped, he got choked out by Ethan Ewing, he got pieced up. And Ethan Ewing's very good. That's not a bad loss. Diaz is also pretty crafty, pretty good. I don't know where his ceiling is yet. Too soon to tell. Nothing from this performance made me go, wow, I want to be a fan of Diaz either. But Wellmaker just didn't look good. I'm sorry. And I don't think he's looked that good in the UFC, to be honest with you. I can't see him being ranked in the future, but he has a lot to work on. And I mentioned Melquizael Costa fans. You guys pissed me off too. You guys just bandwagon on him as this crazy one-shot KO kicker. I'm like, who is he KOing? The last Pirate, fucking 20-10 MMA fighter, or with a Brazilian 10. And who else? Dan Ige, who granted has never been KO'd before, but dude, it's Dan Ige. Orthodox, slow, double leg overhand merchant. Like, Arnold Allen would do horrible things to Dan Ige. Sorry. And people were treating him like the second coming of Crisis if he wasn't going to war with Christian Rodriguez and Julian Erosa like a year ago. Okay? Pump the brakes on Melquizael Costa. He's good. I think he can actually beat Steve Garcia and Diego Lopes with some tweaks here and there. Just stylistically, the way they fight, they aren't as good as Arnold Allen, in my opinion. But yeah, his fans pissed me off. Wellmaker fans pissed me off. But that was this weekend in MMA, really. That's all the notable things. Oh yeah, Nate Diaz and Mike Perry with about as much as I expected. Nathaniel Diaz just can't fight in 2026. He's 43 years old. He's taken probably 80 years worth of damage in combat sports, and people are still, bruh, a Diaz brothers never lost, bro. They just ran out of time, bro. And I am 100% sure some casual watched the Netflix card is like, what was that stoppage? He was just about to turn it up, bro. Late rounds, Nate Diaz, bro. Mike Perry would have unironically sent Nathaniel Diaz to the emergency room if that fight kept going. He probably was there anyway. He was getting the fuck beat out of him. And Mike Perry isn't even good. So I think they should both probably retire, to be honest with you. But they're not going to. Nathaniel Diaz, just give him some bum, and then give Mike Perry some really cool, fun old guy outside of the ranking, outside of the UFC. Like, I don't know. Give him... Shit, dude. Dude, like... Actually, you know, I'm trying to see something. Book Mike Perry versus Patchy Mix. It doesn't make sense, but no MMA makes sense outside of the like the big 3 promotions. And yeah, I don't know. That's just a crack idea out there. So what are we doing next time? I'm actually going to be doing a tier list on our next video, just like so I can share some of my opinions. We can get to know each other. But next prediction video we're going to be doing is going to be Song Yadong versus Davison Figueiredo in Macau. Listen, boys, we're picking Song Yadong. That's a bit of a spoiler. We're going to have other picks, but I'm picking Song Yadong. We love SYD. We love when he dyes his hair blonde and he becomes blonde dong. And other than that, I want you all to gamble responsibly, hit subscribe, smash the like button, comment. I'll try to respond to all the comments we get here. Follow me at TheBiggestMMA on Twitter and TheBiggestMan1 on Instagram. Gamble responsibly, and I'll see y'all next time.